Proverbs 29:2, NLT. When the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked are in power, they groan. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. Barakatha Yahweh, Barakatha Yahweh Shai. All honor, praises, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Wakar Kadash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, and teachers at Great Millstone for teaching me this 100% truth about our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, and the true reason why he's coming back, which is to save the elect remnant of the house of Israel from their enemies and those that hate them, and to take over the earth and universe, which was given to him by the mighty Yahweh himself, the Ancient of Days, wherein our Lord and Savior, Yahweh Shai Mashiach, will establish righteousness throughout the whole earth and universe forever under the kingdom of the heaven of the Israelites. Shalom, Akim and Akwaf. We one day closer to the kingdom. Now, I started off this lesson from reading out of the book of Proverbs, 29th chapter, 2nd verse. When the godly are in authority, the people rejoice. This will be in the kingdom, right? When Yahweh Shai Mashiach comes and destroys the enemies of the house of Israel. But when the wicked are in power, they groan. Now let's read that in the KJV right quick. Because, as we all know, it's a furious, cruel king in power right now. And it's finna make the people mourn heavily. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked beareth rule, the people mourn. Let's go back. And I'm reading all this because of what the king of Babylon, a.k.a. America, is doing. DJ. He putting a remix on the world. He to put tariffs on everybody, which is only going to cause, what? The crash of the global economy, but more importantly, the crash of the American economy, Salakia. We're gonna stay in Proverbs a lot this lesson. Proverbs 4:29-4. A just king gives stability to his nation, but one who demands bribes destroys it. Right? Now, he didn't bribe his way back into the power seat over here in Babylon. And he doing exactly what those people who paid him off wanted him to do, which is destroy this economy. It's going to be hard times over here. You see what I'm saying? Proverbs 29:12. If a ruler pays attention to liars, all his advisors will be wicked. Now, they've been lying since they got in office. You got your boy J.D. Vance talking crazy to all the other nations. He went to Greenland talking crazy, talk crazy to Zelensky, talk crazy to the EU, talk crazy to them Chinese, the Moabites, call them peasants, which only mean formal. They performers, right? But now they tech giants. So they saying, it's all right. We got something for y'all ass. Let's go down. Proverbs 29:16. When the wicked are in authority, sin flourishes, but the godly will live to see their downfall. And that's what the elect of the house of Israel patiently waiting for. The downfall of this wicked-ass kingdom. We're going to get a couple of articles because things is heating up. Yeah. Hey, man, everything these Edomites doing, every snare, every trap that they have laid for the other nations, is coming back to bite their ass. And this for these, let me get this for the Israelites, the Jakes, who continue to want to trust in this system, who looking to think they finna prosper in this system when the Lord is bringing it down. Judah warned against Egyptian alliance. Now, we know through the scriptures and through the spirit that this country that we reside in, America, is also known as Egypt through the spirit in the Bible, Sodom, Assyria, Babylon, Greek, Rome. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh. The rebellious children of who? The house of Israel. That take counsel, but not of me. And that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit. that they may add sin to sin. And what is sin again? Breaking of the law. Huh? Let's get it right quick. Because I'm pretty sure. So like your preacher ain't never went over this. Or whoever you worship, whatever religion you in. 1 John 3 and 4. Whosoever committeth sin transgresseth also the law. For sin is the transgression of the law. And we know the law was only given to who? The Israelites. Shalaki, I was in Jeremiah. I thought I hit Isaiah. Then you go to Isaiah 35. This for America. Hey, let me just read this real quick. Woe to thee that spoilest, and thou wast not spoiled, and dealest treacherously, and they dealt not treacherously with thee. When thou shalt cease to spoil, thou shalt be spoiled. And when thou shalt make an end to deal treacherously, they shall deal treacherously with thee. They ain't a trade war with China, and China is not backing down. But all these other nations are going to turn on them too for other various things they have done. Right? We're going to go on over to 30. Let me go back to this first. Woe to the rebellious children, Isaiah 30 and 1. It's for you Israelites that need to wake up. Y'all have become Americanized, just like we was Hellenized during the Greek captivity. Y'all love the ways of these Edomites. It's going to be to your destruction. Woe to the rebellious children, saith Yahweh, that take counsel, but not of me, and that cover with a covering, but not of my spirit, that they may add sin to sin. You know what I'm saying? So we can continue. There is the 2/3 Israelite. They want to continue breaking the laws, statutes, and commandments of the Most High Power. They trust in the laws and the ways of the Edomites. They walk down into Egypt and have not asked at my mouth to strengthen themselves in the strength of Pharaoh. And who was the new Pharaoh in Egypt? The second time running king, DJ. And his vice president, man, he foolish. And to trust in the shadow of Egypt. Therefore shall the strength of Pharaoh be your shame, and the trust in the shadow of Egypt your confusion. Help not in Egypt, but in God, the Most High Power. Woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, and stay on horses and trust in chariots, because they are many, and in horsemen, because they are very strong. But they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh. Yet he also is wise and will bring evil, will not call back his words, but will arise against the house of the evildoers, and against the help of them that work iniquity. Now the Egyptians are men and not God, not the Most High Power, right? These Edomites think that since they get all this little new technology, that they finna outthink, outlast, outmaneuver, get around what the Lord had determined and purpose, so that they can continue to rule on this earth forever. That shit is not finna work. Now the Egyptians are men and not the Most High Power, and their horse is flesh and not spirit. When Yahweh shall stretch out his hand, both he that helpeth shall fall, and he that is hoping shall fall down. And they all shall fail together. So anybody over here in this country right now who thinking they finna be prosperous, and I'm mainly talking about the house of Israel, because you Edomites, y'all a done deal, right? Let's just get Isaiah 19 real quick, because ain't finna be no work over here. Because this was finna happen. The burden of Egypt, behold, Yahweh rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt. And the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians. Because once these terrorists kick in, and destruction start hitting this country, famine, the Lord already hitting it with the plagues, hitting it with the timbers of the storms. Earthquake just hit off the West Coast, right? And I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight, everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's going to apply to all the Edomites worldwide. And the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof. They that came up, boy, thinking they finna make America great again. Everything they doing is failing. They started on behalf of them Israelis. They over there fighting in Western Asia, right? They over there in the Red Sea fighting against them Ansarallah, whom they call the Houthis. They losing. The genocide that's going on in Israel / Palestine, they're accountable for. They trying to create chaos, but let's get to the point. I'm going to read this, though. Isaiah 19:12. Where are they? Where are thy wise men? And let them tell thee now, and let them know what Yahweh of hosts have purpose upon Egypt. He going to bring it down, man. He didn't mingle a perverse spirit. Yahweh have mingled, I'm going to drop down to 14. Yahweh have mingled a perverse spirit in the midst thereof, and they have caused Egypt to err in every work thereof. From this point forward, everything these Edomites do, especially in America, is going to fail. As a drunken man staggereth in his vomit. Neither shall there be any work for Egypt, which the head or tail, branch or rush may do. Let's see. I should like I must have missed it. How long? And evil. Should like it. Hold on, Israel. Here it is, Isaiah 19:4. And the Egyptians will give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, saith the Lord, Yahweh of hosts. Now let's get into a couple of these articles, because it's finna be on. Look at this clown. Deacon Eddie said, we'll get to that later. Where did it go? Here we go. China lashes out, says peasants in the United States will suffer from trade war, right? Because J.D. Vance, y'all vice president, called the people of China peasants. And they responded like, man, we've been around 5,000 years. Y'all only been around 250. And look at y'all. A Chinese health official lashed out against the Trump administration on Tuesday, reportedly stating that the peasants in the United States will suffer from the trade war. Xi Baolong, the director of China's Hong Kong and Macao Affairs Office under the State Council, criticized tariff policies levied by the Trump administration as extremely shameless. Appearing to address past remarks by Vice President J.D. Vance, Xi said, let those peasants in the United States wail in front of the 5,000 years of Chinese civilization, according to Reuters. Now, through the scriptures, Chinese are the Moabites. They got judgment coming from the Lord, too. Just type in Moabite if you got the blue letter Bible and see what they fake gonna be. Vance told Fox News last week that the globalist economy in the U.S. is based on the principle of incurring a huge amount of debt to buy things that other countries make for us. Now, you see that? We're going to read this next. China halts Boeing jet orders. This economy finna crash. But guess what, y'all? They doing it on purpose. They got to bring in that chip. So, after they crash this economy, they're going to go digital. What's after the digital? That chip. The MOTB, that's spoken of in Revelations, 13th chapter, 14th chapter 2, you're going to get that gruesome sword. To make it a little bit more crystal clear. Look at what this dude say. This Vance talking, right? He said the U.S. is based on the principle of incurring a huge amount of debt to buy things that other countries make for us. To make it a little bit more crystal clear, we borrow money from Chinese peasants to buy the things those Chinese peasants manufacture. Vance said in an interview defending Trump's plan to revitalize U.S. manufacturing. That is not a recipe for economic prosperity. It is a recipe for low prices, and it's not a recipe for good jobs in the United States of America. Now, that's your leader speaking foolishly, right? They are throughout. Just read the book of Proverbs. Beijing's top official in Hong Kong made the criticism in a pre-recorded address played before the 10th National Security Education Day, according to the South China Morning Post. Xi said the U.S. is the biggest sinister manipulator undermining human rights, freedom, the rule of law, prosperity, and stability in Hong Kong. Shit, and around the world, too. According to an excerpt reported by the outlet. The U.S. isn't after our tariffs, but our very survival, Xi said, according to another excerpt reported by the New York Post. The U.S. has repeatedly contained and suppress Hong Kong. And this will eventually backfire on itself, correct? Why is it going to backfire? Because the Lord said it is. All the snares and traps you have set for others, you're going to fall into, roughly paraphrasing. He also described the U.S. as a bully, vowing that the Chinese government will stand by Hong Kong. Look at this. Look at this headline. Trump says specific tariff will be placed on semiconductor industry. Rate to be announced within a week. He's crashing the economy in the U.S. All of these things is going to affect the American citizens. The Chinese people do not cause trouble, nor are they afraid of trouble. Pressure, threats, and blackmail are not the right way to deal with China, he added, according to the New York Post. The U.S. Department of State has said Beijing and Hong Kong officials use national security laws to intimidate and harass democracy activists. Man, please. Beijing has installed sympathetic officials on the once autonomous island after a massive protest in 2019. It's not the first time Vance's remarks has drawn the ire of Beijing. Last week, Chinese Foreign Minister spokesperson Lin Jian said to hear words that lack knowledge and respect like those uttered by this vice president is both surprising and kind of lamentable. China has made its position perfectly clear on its trade relations with the U.S., he reportedly said. Chinese President Xi Jinping, meanwhile, is touring Southeast Asia this week and reportedly pitched Beijing as a source of stability and certainty in her now. That's all we need to read from this. Now, another official already said, because, the Edomite lady, they was giving them an interview, and she said, well, you know that the U.S. makes up 15% of your export economy, and the Chinese official said, we don't care. We don't need y'all 15%. Do what the fuck y'all gonna do. Right? Now look at this. Now tell me this ain't finna affect Boeing. Where Boeing workers located at? America. Chinese, look at it. China halts Boeing jet orders. And they matching, here we go. Chinese airlines have been ordered not to take any further deliveries of Boeing aircraft in response to the U.S. imposing 145% tariffs on Chinese goods, Bloomberg News reports. Just before 7 a.m. Eastern, Boeing's pre-market share stock price was down 3.72%. The aerospace company calls itself a top U.S. exporter that serves customers in more than 150 countries. Well, you finna stop in China. Boeing's year-to-date deliveries show that 18 aircraft have been delivered to 9 airlines in China. The country's top 3 airlines, Air China, China Eastern Airlines, and China Southern Airlines, have plans to take delivery of 45, 53, and 81 Boeing planes, respectively, between 2025 and 2027, Reuters reports. Boeing sees China as an opportunity for growth, according to Reuters, where rival Airbus holds a dominant position. Well, Airbus finna get all their work done. Beijing has also asked that Chinese carriers halt purchases of aircraft-related equipment and parts from U.S. companies, the Bloomberg report said, which is expected to raise maintenance costs for the jets flying in the country. However, the Chinese government is considering ways to provide assistance to airlines that lease Boeing jets and are facing higher costs. Right? They're just going to keep on, man. Look, China last week hiked levies on U.S. imports to 125% in retaliation against U.S. tariffs. Right? The China already been working on getting the goods, things that they get from America. They've been working with other countries around the world as an alternate source. Just like, for example, soybeans. America used to be a top producer of soybeans for China, but now they done went through Brazil, and now they're getting their soybeans from Brazil. So what this going to do to the farmers in America, right? All this little war going to trickle down to the farmers, regular businesses, tech businesses, because of the semiconductors, right? It's already finna start hitting the automotive industry. There will be no work in Egypt. Let's see. It might be. Now let's get this. Look at these boys. Listen to them. Make this quick. Because now they panicking. U.S. plans to use tariff negotiations to isolate China. You can't isolate China. Yeah, but look at this. Americans must think they the only country in the world that buy goods. Like they the only one that's spending money. It's only, 350 million people in this country? It's over a billion in China. And look at the global south. That's all of Africa, Latin America, and Asia. Southeast Asia. They got, and they moving into Europe, so they ain't worried about the American dollar no more. And they hold most of American debt. Boy, these boys, they going down. U.S. plans to use tariff negotiations to isolate China. U.S. President Donald Trump administration plans to use ongoing tariff negotiations to pressure U.S. trading partners to limit their dealings with China. So now they finna go after everybody who they dealing with, telling them not to deal with China too. That's not gonna work. The Wall Street Journal reported on Tuesday, citing people with knowledge of the conversations. U.S. officials plan to use negotiations with more than 70 nations to ask them to disallow China to ship goods through their countries and prevent Chinese firms from being located in their territories to avoid U.S. tariffs. So if y'all don't do what they say and don't let the Chinese sell their goods and allow their ships to dock at y'all ports, y'all gonna add on to their tariffs. Y'all bullying people, man. Let's get a couple more scriptures, man, get up out of here. It's not going to work. It's the beginning of the end for these boys. Habakkuk 2 and 3. For the vision is yet for an appointed time, but at the end it shall speak. And we're at the end, and it's speaking. Everything the Lord says is going to happen, happening, and not a lie. Though it tarry, wait for it, because it will surely come. It will not tarry. Let's see these Edomites right here. Verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by faith. Who is that? The elect. Let's go down to 5. Yeah, also, because he transgresseth by wine. He is a proud man, neither keepeth at home, who enlargeth his desire is hell, and is as death, and cannot be satisfied, but gathereth unto him all nations, and heapeth unto him all people. This is the great melting pot, right? In every Edomite nation, they being overran by migrants. Check it out. Germany, France, the U.S. They've been going around destroying other people's country, using their doctrine, right? Now, didn't they not outsource all the half of the manufacturing in the U.S. to China in the 70s? Right? Because the rich was trying to get richer and use cheap labor. And look at this shit and it backfired on your ass. Not China, one of the leading exporters. They produce damn near everything. So now all these take up a parable against him and a taunting proverb against him to say, woe to him that increaseth that which is not his. How long? And to him that ladeth himself with thick clay. That's the point. Shall not they rise up suddenly that shall bite thee, and awake that shall vex thee, and thou shalt be for booties unto them? Because soon the people finna turn on this foolish, corrupt ass leader. As you have done, it shall be done unto you. You can put the tariffs on China. China hitting right back. Like, we strong, not sucker. We don't care what you do. Proverbs 6 and 12. Let's get this in the NLT. What are worthless and wicked people like? They are constant liars. The Edomites, signaling their deceit with the wink of an eye, a nudge of the foot, or the wiggle of fingers. What do you say this is going to be? Liberation Day in April for America. Yeah. Destruction. The drain is finna get, it's like a bankruptcy for this country. They finna crash the economy, bring on digital money, and then in the very near future, tell everybody you got to get this chip in order to buy and sell. Their perverted hearts plot evil, and they constantly stir up trouble. It's these Edomites, man, especially the ones in Babylon. Proverbs 6 and 16. There are 6 things Yahweh hates. No, 7 things he detests. Haughty eyes, a lying tongue, hands that kill the innocent. We check the box off on every last one of these for these Edomites. A heart that plots evil, feet that race to do wrong, a false witness who pours out lies, a person who sows discord in the family. These speak for themselves. I shouldn't even have to explain this. That's everything that these Edomites been doing around the world. With their policies, with the wine that they have had everybody to drink, right? The other nations going to get mad at them, right? They're going to turn on them. Let me see if there's anything else when I need out of here. Nope. So as we can see, these Edomites, it ain't looking well for them. We get one more, get up out of here, man. It's for these Edomites. Proverbs 5 and 22. An evil man is held captive by his own sins. They are ropes that catch and hold him. He will die for lack of self-control. He will be lost because of his great foolishness. That's for J.D. Vance. Hey, man, these boys is starting wars. They can't even win a military war. How the fuck you think they finna win an economic war? But woe to those who trust in Egypt. Now, you remember now, these curses that the children of Israel had to endure, these Edomites finna go through it too. Where's that at? Let's get it right quick. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. Read Deuteronomy 28 to see the curses. Deuteronomy 30 and 7. And Yahweh thy power will put all these curses upon thine enemies and on them that hate thee, which persecuted thee. Now let's read this. This applies to Israel for our wickedness, but it's going to apply to these Edomites too. Right? Let me see something. I'll just read the top. Punishment for wickedness foretold. Moreover, the word of Yahweh came unto me, saying, also, thou son of man, thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the most high power, unto the land of Israel. An end. The end is come upon the four corners of the land. Now is the end come upon thee, and I will send mine anger upon thee, and will judge thee according to thy ways, and will recompense upon thee all thine abominations. We're applying this to America. And mine eye shall not spare thee, neither will I have pity, but I will recompense thee thy ways upon thee, and thine abominations shall be in the midst of thee. For these Edomites. And you shall know that I am Yahweh. Thus saith the Lord Yahweh, the most high power. And evil and only evil, behold, is come. Evil meaning bad times. Let's look it up. And evil. Bad, evil, bad, disagreeable, malignment, bad, unpleasant, evil, giving pain, unhappiness, misery, displeasing, bad of his kind, land, water, etc. Bad, worse than worse, sad, unhappy, evil, hurtful, bad, unkind, vicious in disposition, bad, evil, wicked, ethically, evil, distress, misery, injury, calamity. That's what's coming to this country. Evil, distress, adversity. It goes on. Right? And evil and only evil coming to this country. Right? And to these Edomites. The Lord said he should not remove it. Oh, here go the point. Let me get this. In NLT. Right? We'll start at 8. Soon I will pour out my fury on you and unleash my anger against you. I will call you to account for all your detestable sins. That's why I laid out. That's why I read Isaiah 30th chapter. Y'all better remove yourself from this. Woe to them that trust in Egypt. Because the Lord finna do what? Soon I will pour out my fury on you and unleash my anger against you. I will call you to account for all your detestable sins. I will turn my eyes away and show no pity. I will repay you for all your detestable sins. Then you will know that it is I, Yahweh, who is striking the blow. The day of judgment is here. Your destruction awaits. The people's wickedness and pride have blossomed to full flower. Who more prouder than DJ? Their violence has grown into a rod that will beat them for their wickedness. None of these proud and wicked people will survive. All their wealth and prestige will be swept away. Yes, the time has come. The day is here. Buyers should not rejoice over bargains, nor sellers grieve over losses. For all of them will fall under my terrible anger. Even if the merchants survive, they will never return to their business. These businesses finna go down, especially the small businesses, with all these tariffs. For what the Most High Power has said applies to everyone. It will not be changed. Not one person whose life is twisted by sin will ever recover. Not one person whose life is twisted by sin will ever recover. With that being said, buckle up. Hard times coming for the Edomites. Hard times coming for every country in which an Edomite is in rulership. More importantly, hard times coming for Babylon the Great for the things that they have done to the children of Israel. This all for the controversy of Zion, y'all. Be patient. The Most High Power is working his work. The things that he had purposed is coming true. Guess what, Israel? We one day closer to the kingdom. Shalom.